Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being on that side. My name is Oscar Quevedo, and we are starting today with our way of participating and sharing our experience with friends in these wine talks and friends. Today we start with a great guy, with Jan Matthias Klein. He is growing grapes and making wine in the Mosel in Germany. And he has a very curious approach. He's making beautiful natural wine with a lot of innovation, a lot of new techniques that I think it's interesting for us to know and discover. Let's bring Jan to the conversation. He's here. Good evening, Jan.
Hello, Oscar. Nice to see you.
Likewise. Thank you for being part of this first edition of what I hope can bring some sharing of knowledge about viticulture and winemaking. You are part of being a good friend and a great guy. You are doing a lot of innovative things and bringing diversity in terms of the wines that you produce, and also applying different approach in terms of viticulture. Tell me, how important, how do you see the use of the sheep in the vineyard as a way of controlling the weeds?
Well, since 2016, we started working with biodynamic practices, and for a biodynamic winery or agricultural business, normally it is also necessary to have animals in the circle. And for cows, it would be a bit difficult for us, but the sheep can actually be very useful. We found, and we were lucky to inherit some sheep from friends, and now we use them to graze in the vineyards to do the weed control for us, and also do some fertilization at the rear end.
That was very important.
So that is a pretty practical way of doing weed control in a very organic way, and we are at the moment still in the trial stage. We only have 4 sheep at the moment, so we just want to see how much they can eat, and also for the winter, how much else other food we need to supply, like hay and stuff like this. And but as soon as we have a bit better understanding, we probably might increase the number, and also start having lambs for meat as well, and for our own for having
Your
some
own consumption. And because a part of the winery, which is one of probably the oldest in Germany. It's from the 9th century.
Mm-hmm.
And you also have a kind of a hotel, a touristic place with accommodation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this could be integrated in the circle, no? The lamb to serve to your guests.
Yeah, maybe if we have something left, we might share it. Yeah, but I think it's also great for the guest house. We get more and more families coming, so then the kids can play with the sheep as well when they're nearby. We also have chickens now. We also use them in vineyards. The chickens are better for the younger vineyards, because the sheep, they still eat the young shoots from the young vines. So you have to be careful with them to let them. But when the vines are a bit older, stronger, then it's no problem. The sheep don't.
How high do you need to have the vines trained so the sheep will not eat the shoots?
Like the sheep are only 45 centimeters high. Okay. It's a special race from Brittany,
north of France.
Wesson. And so we have the lowest wire is at I think 75, 80 centimeters. So they can easily walk underneath, and also they cannot reach the shoots.
Interesting. Another thing that interested me a lot was the use of PIWI varieties. So fungus or grape varieties that are resilient to fungus. And this is something that I don't know if you have already planted the first PIWI grape varieties, or if you are still, or if you already have any wine produced from PIWI varieties.
We already planted PIWI grapes 20 years ago from the first generation. It's called Regent. Regent is, you find it in a lot of places now. It's already in England, in the Netherlands, but also widely spread in Germany. So we always had the Regent, but there the resistance against the fungus wasn't as good as you have it in the new breed of PIWI varieties. So we still had to spray it like 3 times at least, but just still much better than with the normal grapes.
Yeah.
And also you can make some nice.
Which PIWI varieties do you have now, Jan?
We have now planted, last year we planted Muscaris, Sauvignon Gris, which is a bit like a Pinot Gris with a bit more acidity. And we also planted Sauvitage, which is close to Sauvignon Blanc. And this year we're going to plant Sauvignac, which is a Riesling Sauvignon, similar grape than Satin Noir, which is a nice silky red wine variety. And Donau Riesling, which is supposedly the closest to the Riesling we have in Mosel.
Oh, interesting. Donau Riesling. And what is if you put them in a blind tasting with like the Riesling that you produce, the Fernand Pires that you produce also from Mosel, can you identify the PIWI varieties easily?
Well, I think it needs a bit of training, because I have never made wine from these new varieties yet. I've tasted them from friends, and I like the flavors. That's why I chose those grapes, and also for the resistance. They're mainly the highest resistance is against the downy mildew, because that's the biggest problem that we have in the Mosel.
Downy mildew
can make the most damage. So and some have even also resistance for sunburn, or they're also better more resilient when there's very dry weather. So that's all problems that we're facing now with climate change. So the PIWIs are not only good against the diseases that we know for a long time, but they also work better in a tougher climatical conditions.
What does the global warming can mean for the Mosel?
Well, it means that this year, for the first time, we will install drip irrigation in the young plantings, because it has been 3 years in a row where it was way too dry in the early, like in the spring, in the summer, and we had to drive. Last year, my father, I think he drove 250,000 liters of water to the young vineyards, just with his little tractor and a 2,000-liter trailer, and then just feeding it by hand.
250,000.
Yeah, and just to keep everything alive. So, and my father is 72 soon, and I think it's not something that he should do all the time.
No. And we don't want him to do it, yeah.
So we made the decision. Actually, next week we start installing irrigation in last year's plantings. And then when we plant in April, we also directly will put irrigation in those ones too.
And you set up automatic irrigation?
Yeah, it will be like a drip irrigation. I bought 2 big trailers with 5,000 liters, and we can just put them on top of the vineyard, because we have steep slopes, which is nice for this. You just put the water on the top, and then it automatically runs.
So the PIWI varieties will help you not only reducing the amount of spraying that you need to control the fungus, but also they are more resilient to drought.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also the great thing is, in those vineyards, we will spray probably just once or maybe twice. And then also we can keep the sheep inside much longer, because where we spray, normally we spray copper a lot as an organic producer, and their sheep don't like the copper. So so in the PIWI vineyard, they can stay most of the time. Yeah.
That's very important. Very interesting, Jan. One last question, Jan. I would like to keep this video within 10 minutes. And my question for you, you're the godfather of natural wines in Germany. Tell us, give me an argument for a young winemaker to start producing organic wine. If you had like one or two reasons to convince this new winemaker, what would it be? Organic wine or even natural wine?
Well, I would say organic is going to be the future for everything, not just for wine, also for food production, I think, because it's the only way how we can keep our soils alive, that they will produce for the next 100, 200, 300, whatever years. So it's definitely, if you want to be on the good side, you have to be organic. And especially when you're in the Mosel, I think making natural wine is a very good way of making wine and being able to also get better revenue, because in the natural wine scene, usually the prices are higher, the customers respect more the work of the winemaker, and the competition is not so tough as in the big market of organic or even all the wine. And I think that is a good niche to be in when you start up a new winery in the Mosel. Excellent.
Do you have any wine, a glass of wine next to you, Jan, so you can make a toast?
Yes, of course.
Thank you very much for being on that side, for answering these few questions about natural wine, organic winemaking, organic viticulture. I hope that we will see you soon again. I mean, we use it to be very like 2 or 3 times a year together. I hope that come back. And for our viewers, if you have any questions in the future, please feel free to reply, to leave your comments in the section. We'll be around to reply to you. Jan is going to participate in a symposium on the 7th of March. You can find it on the comment section on this video. It's about wine and versus climate change. So feel free to join. I'd like to say thank you also to Frederick Blair, which is our moderator, and a good evening to everyone. Take good care of you, Jan. And
cheers, Oscar. All the best for you and your family.
Likewise.
Bye.
Take care.
See you soon, hopefully.
I hope so. Bye.
Saúde.
Saúde.